George Martin continues to amaze his fans. Just recently, the author of Game of Thrones took photos with the resurrected direwolf, shared fresh news about the Night of the Seven Kingdoms, and is doing everything but writing The Winds of Winter. Meanwhile, production has started filming the third season of House of the Dragon, which promises to be the most magnificent and expensive of all. As you can see, we have many topics to discuss, so let's get started. Let's begin perhaps with updates on the Targaryen War. As already mentioned, the third season of House of the Dragon is expected to surpass all previous ones. This is not just a guess, but a clear statement from the show's runner, Ryan Condal. At a recent ceremony, he noted that the upcoming episodes will be more grandiose and expansive. The conclusion of the second season left viewers in suspense, showing the movement of armies from various corners of Westeros. Condal promised that this time the series will reach a completely new level. We are in for exciting episodes and a quartet of significant literary events that will unfold in the third season. Additionally, the showrunner hinted at a non-traditional episode that will stand out against the usual format. These statements are intriguing, but let's consider what they are about. First of all, we are talking about 4 iconic literary events. According to previously known information, we are set to witness one of the bloodiest and most dramatic moments of the Targaryen Civil War. The new season will kick off without delay with the famous battle at the Narrow Sea. If circumstances had been different, the largest naval battle in history would have already taken place. Since the second season was shortened from 10 to 8 episodes, this naval clash was excluded from the original plan. This event was supposed to be the final climax, adding tension and setting the stage for the next season. By the way, this was indicated in the 8th season. The Triarchy has allied with the Green faction to break the blockade of the Narrow Sea established by the Valyrians, which is the most important route between Dragonstone and King's Landing. The ships have already set sail for battle, but an unexpected end to the season halted them. Therefore, the battle at the Narrow Sea will take place in the first episode of the third season and promises to be one of the most grandiose starts. The events of the book indeed unfolded with extraordinary speed when the ship carrying the princes Aegon and Viserys, heading to Pentos, was attacked by the fleet of the Triarchy. This led to the Black Dragons joining the battle alongside the Valyrian fleet, including new riders. As a result, both sides were represented by enormous forces. 90 ships of the Triarchy, the entire Valyrian fleet, and 5 dragons made the battle at the mouth one of the most significant naval conflicts in the history of Westeros. Given this, viewers can expect an impressive start, and the showrunner is rightly proud of it. Of course, there will be tragic losses among the heroes, but let's not spoil the experience for those unfamiliar with the book. The second important event from the book mentioned by Condal is likely related to the siege of King's Landing. Rhaenyra decides to take this step as the city is not only a strategic, but also a symbolic center of royal power. In the second season, her forces have significantly increased, so the siege has become just a matter of time. Considering that House of the Dragon is planned for 4 seasons, there is essentially no time to delay this event. It is clear that the siege will involve ground troops, the fleet, and dragons, making the battle grandiose. If the writers follow the book closely, we can expect yet another of the most significant plot twists to date. However, by the time of the siege, the third season has already altered the chronology of events. The king is not in the harbor, as Aegon has secretly fled with Larys Strong, putting Rhaenyra in a difficult position since there is no one to overthrow. Overall, the attack on King's Landing promises to be a large-scale and important event, so we eagerly await it. The third important event described in the book involves Criston Cole and is called the Butcher's Ball. This battle occurs when he leads a weakened army of Green south through the Riverlands. He intends to meet the army of the Hightowers, while Aemond has left his troops and gone to Vhagar to ravage the lands of the Riverlords. However, Cole's army is ambushed by the forces of the Blacks, and the story involves the Starks of Winterfell, who send the Winter Wolves. In the book, they used various tactics against the marching Greens, including disguising themselves as the dead for a surprise attack. We won't spoil how this ends, but this battle could very well be memorable. As for the fourth event, the situation is not so simple. The fact is that both book readers and viewers unfamiliar with it have long awaited the clash between Daemon and Aemond on the battlefield. Some of the most prominent figures in the conflict must clearly understand who the main dragon rider is. If we refer to the literary chronology, their meeting will indeed take place and will be truly legendary. The battle between Daemon and Aemond will undoubtedly take center stage and will be the largest clash of the entire Dance of Dragons. Moreover, the confrontation between these characters was practically predetermined back in the second season. However, the producers will likely move this event to the fourth season, which will draw the final line in the bloody war. The desire to save the best for the final moment is quite justified, considering that viewers are promised numerous large-scale battles. Therefore, the fourth event from the books mentioned by the showrunner is likely the first battle at Tambleton. This is another battle that fits into the timeline of the third season. Tambleton has been mentioned several times, as it is the home of Hugh Mollet's wife's family. This trading city has become an important base for the Blacks between the Reach and King's Landing to hold off the Hightower forces. The battle at Tambleton involved two massive armies as well as winter wolves and dragons, which was also accompanied by a major betrayal. Overall, the event promises to be spectacular and have far-reaching consequences. As it seems, the producers are not lying, and the third season will finally be what House of the Dragon was meant to be from the start. The Targaryen War will erupt with double the force, and we will not be shown just 1 or 2 battles per season. At least 4 major battles can be expected, and this certainly fuels interest in the third season. However, it is still difficult to say which unconventional episode Ryan Condal was referring to. His words sounded like something conceptually new. Perhaps this will only be known after the premiere, as long as it doesn't turn out to be too eccentric. Additionally, Steve Toussaint, who plays Corlys Velaryon, accidentally confirmed the appearance of the missing Targaryen prince, who will be on the side of the Greens. The actor posted a list of roles on his social media ahead of the upcoming filming. Of course, the photo was quickly deleted as it had not gone through approval, but the internet remembers everything. The list of roles included Prince Daemon Targaryen, the third son of Alicent and Viserys. This confirms that Daemon will finally appear in the series. Every Targaryen has dragon blood, which allows him to fly on dragons and sow chaos among his opponents. Therefore, every dragon rider is worth their weight in gold, as we have already seen in the second season when the Blacks recruited bastards. Like his brothers and sisters, Prince Daemon Targaryen will not be without his dragon Tessarion, with whom he has formed a close bond. Due to his size, he does not pose as significant a threat as, for example, Vhagar, but he is significantly faster and more agile. Thus, the Blacks have a new powerful opponent who will replace Aegon and his dragon. Meanwhile, while House of the Dragon is busy producing the third season, George Martin continues to enjoy life. Recently, the author of A Song of Ice and Fire shared that he met with resurrected direwolves. And this is no joke, even though it sounds like news from the world of series. Direwolves gained popularity thanks to Game of Thrones, and were long considered mythical creatures. However, they did exist, but went extinct about 10,000 years ago. Using modern genetic technologies, scientists managed to extract their DNA, combine it with the DNA of a regular wolf, thus bringing them back to life. And who better than George Martin should be invited to the first presentation of this achievement? The writer, of course, agreed and also discussed the upcoming project, Night of the Seven Kingdoms. He explained why the new series may not meet viewers' expectations. Martin has already watched all 6 episodes of the new prequel to Game of Thrones and was satisfied with the result. However, many viewers are used to the grand scale and universal threats that are present in both the original Thrones and House of the Dragon. However, the new spin-off will have a completely different tone. About this, HBO producer Francesca Orsi also mentioned, comparing the budget of The Night with the costs of Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon. She noted that production standards have changed, and the studio is currently not ready to invest large sums in projects that have not proven their viability. As a result, the cost of one episode of The Night of the Seven Kingdoms was less than $10 million. Despite the reduced budget, she emphasized that the battles we will see in the series will be on par with the best fights from the original Thrones. If it resembles Oberyn's duels with the Mountain or the Hound with Brienne, we will be quite satisfied. In addition to large-scale battles, The Night lacks many elements that obviously increase the budget. The White Walkers have not yet appeared, and dragons are considered extinct, which significantly reduces graphic costs. The Night of the Seven Kingdoms should be viewed as a supplement to the history of Westeros. It is as faithful to the source material as possible, and the plot is focused within local frameworks. It lacks epic battles, which may disappoint viewers, even if the characters turn out to be interesting, but it is still worth giving it a chance, as when Martin dislikes something, he does not hesitate to express it. So far, only positive reviews are heard, so we eagerly await the series. As for the development of other spin-offs, it seems that HBO has decided to take a pause to assess viewer interest in The Night of the Seven Kingdoms. If the project is successful, then work on other branches and prequels will likely accelerate, and we will be able to return to Westeros more often. In the meantime, don't forget to share your thoughts on whether House of the Dragon can come close to the best seasons of Game of Thrones and what the chances of success are for The Night of the Seven Kingdoms. That's all for now, friends. See you in new videos very soon.